Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is kind of a apology, an admission that I might have jumped the gun on a video that I put out about a month ago where I was kind of feeling a little bit grumpy about releases in 2026 and how at that point there hadn't been much announced. This would have been back probably late March. And the list of stuff that I was interested in, which again, I'm interested in a lot of stuff. Those of you that know my channel know I love all sorts of stuff. Reissue stuff, jazz, country, Americana, rock, bluegrass, box sets, all the stuff that we all love. There's a lot that I could be interested in. So I'm not just a single-mindedly narrow person looking for, I've just got to have, Bob Dylan stuff and that's it. I've got a lot of stuff that I like. And by the end of March, there wasn't much that had been announced that I was interested in. However, that has since changed. And I want to talk about 5 releases that I didn't think were, worthy, so to speak. They weren't going to get views on my channel. So I thought I'd just throw 5 onto this video. Now, I was just going to do 5 random records that I'm looking forward to that aren't out yet. I'm recording this April the 29th, and so far, none of this has been released yet. Obviously, this video will stay up, but as of April 29th, 2026, none of these have been officially released. And I was looking at my list. I have a notepad of stuff that I am keeping track of that I would like. And I've written down the dates so that I know the order in which to go. I picked 5 that are coming out June the 5th. June the 5th and May 29th seem like pretty big days for stuff that I'm interested in. But I went ahead with June the 5th because there's a bunch of stuff here. We have we have 1 reissue, we have 1 live record, and then 3 new pieces of music. So the first one I'm going to jump into, I'm not going to talk too much about it. This one's kind of on my, they're kind of a bench warmer record right now. And that's going to be an album by a group that I'd never talk about called the Red Clay Strays, who are releasing their 3rd album called Grateful. Now, the Red Clay Strays, they kind of had a big song on TikTok that really blew up. They're a kind of a mix of outlaw country, gospel, a little bit of rock and roll kind of band. A bunch of young guys have really kind of been blowing up as a touring group, and have just announced a tour called the Grateful Tour. But they released the album announcement with a new song called Demons in Your Choir, which I highly recommend. It's a great song. Kind of talks about, the people that you're closest to that might not be the best people. It's kind of one of those types of songs. Powerful vocals. Again, I have their first 2 records. This is their 3rd. They have 2 records and a live album that I know of. I'm not a diehard, so some of you all out there will probably correct me if there's any EPs or anything or Record Store Day items that I don't know about. But this is their 3rd proper studio release called Grateful. Again, lots of gospel influence, but also that outlaw country and, kind of twangy Telecaster kind of guitars. So Grateful by the Red Clay Strays on June the 5th. The second one, let's go ahead with the live record. As you know, one of my favorite artists going today is Sierra Farrell. She had one of my favorite records of 2024 with her album Trail of Flowers. Well, there's a new live record coming out on Third Man Records, recorded direct to acetate. So that means she was singing it, it was recording directly onto the wax. I have one of these records. It's very, very lo-fi. That Old Crow Medicine Show put out a couple years back at Third Man. And Sierra Farrell is doing the same thing, which will be very fitting with her song. She's got this old mountain type voice. She, would fit right in with the 50s and 60s country artists like Patsy Cline, Kitty Wells, Tammy Wynette, she would fit right in there, also with a little bit more of that more Appalachian folky kind of stuff, like early Dolly Parton kind of stuff. But she's just so good. My wife and I get to see her, I believe, in September on her tour. I've never seen her before. Very excited to see her. Sierra Farrell live at Third Man. This is coming from the Third Man site. Sierra Farrell brought her 2025 tour to a close in her adopted hometown of Nashville. Recorded live direct to acetate at Third Man Records Blue Room. That's kind of like their little concert recording studio. This singular performance bottles the raw energy, firebrand spirit, and spellbinding showmanship that have propelled Farrell to the forefront of modern bluegrass and country. And it's available in like a red opaque wax. So you can get that on Third Man. I think you can get it on like Rounder Records as well, has a version of it. But lots of people have done this kind of thing. They've done, again, Old Crow. Geese have done an album like this. Jack Johnson did a record like this. So very, very excited for this. Any new Sierra Farrell is okay in my book, and so I will definitely be grabbing that as well. Now, let's jump into the reissue here, and then I'll do kind of the ones that I'm most well, that's not true. Let me do this. Let me jump to this album. So a band that I, again, never talk about that is widely known and is a band that I would love to see is a band called Death Cab for Cutie. You might have known them if you're a little bit older than me. They were really big in the 90s and early aughts. They had an album called Plans, which was huge. Marching Bands of Manhattan, Soul Meets Body, I Will Follow You Into the Dark were big in like the kind of moody, some people call it like emo music in that time. But it's really, it's really, really good stuff. Really, really well-written songs by their leader, Ben Gibbard, who I also talk about a lot when I'm referencing the Monkees, because he wrote my favorite Monkees song on their 2016 album Good Times, called Me and Magdalena. He was one of the songwriters brought in for that record. I was actually supposed to see Ben in 2020, but COVID got in the way and he ended up canceling his whole tour of acoustic shows. But Death Cab has a brand new album coming out. It's called I Built You a Tower. There are 2 singles out. One was just released yesterday on the 28th. Really, really good stuff. It comes in several different vinyl variants and that sort of stuff. So the description on their site, Death Cab for Cutie is one of the definitive indie rock bands of the century. After 20-odd years in the major label system, the band returned to their indie roots and signed with Anti Records, and they're back with the brand new 11th album titled I Built You a Tower, out June the 5th. I Built You a Tower is the sound of loss, compartmentalization, and then grief bursting out from the seams. It's also the sound of the growth that comes after falling apart, of acknowledging pain without letting it destroy you. So it's going to be a really happy album. I see the tower existing on your emotional horizon, Ben Gibbard states. You don't always have to look at what's inside it, but it's a reminder that it happened. You know it's there. You just have to face it. So really, really good stuff. I think looks like 11 songs. I've really liked the 2 songs that I've heard. The first one was a little bit more poppy. The second was a little bit more classic Death Cab with a little bit more, actually some kind of heavy guitar tones in it for you guitar folks out there. So I'm very excited about this. I'm not a completist with Death Cab, although I probably should be. I have several of their records. I have at least 3 studio albums of theirs on CD or wax. And then I have an EP that they did. And then I've also got a Ben Gibbard EP that he did as well. Ben Gibbard also led the group The Postal Service, which often are kind of thrown in there with Death Cab. They had 1 record, but that was pretty big. So Death Cab for Cutie, very, very excited for them as well. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3. All right, let's jump to the last of the newer records, and then I've got the reissue, and then we'll call it a day. One of my favorite bands, Old Crow Medicine Show, is coming out with another album. They don't seem to stop, and I love it. They have an album called Union Made. Again, these are all out on June the 5th. Again, Old Crow, string band, country. old time music. They're based out of Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of the members hail from Virginia, whether that's Harrisonburg, Virginia, Floyd County, Salem, Virginia. That they're very much a Virginia-based band, but big band. Obviously, their big song is "Wagon Wheel," which was covered by Darius Rucker, although theirs is the definitive version. If you've never heard it, that's the one you need. But anyway, they have a new record coming out called Union Made. And this is going to be coming from relics.com that had the information. Old Crow will release their next full-length studio album, Union Made, on June the 5th through Heartland Records via Firebird Music. Produced by longtime bandmate and their band member and their bassist, original member, Morgan Janning, and recorded in their own East Nashville studio, Union Made is said to, quote, find the group reflecting upon the people, places, and stories of a country on the brink of its 250th birthday. The LP's first single, which is already out, called My Side of the Mountain, was co-written by Old Crow frontman Ketch Secor, his fiancée, Molly Tuttle, who a lot of you Beatles people have just heard about because of the Ringo record. She's played on both of the newest Ringo albums, and country star Luke Combs, which is very interesting because I am not a fan of Luke Combs. The track also features guest appearances by Tuttle and bluegrass greats Del McCoury and his son Ronnie McCoury. Ketch Secor says, Molly Tuttle and I got together with Luke Combs to write this song. Both Luke and I owe a lot to the scenic town of Boone, high in the hills of westernmost North Carolina, where the song is set. Another musician with deep roots in the area is bluegrass legend Del McCoury. My Side of the Mountain celebrates the distinct culture and sound of the Appalachian people of western North Carolina. Some of our country's most self-reliant folk, this song is for them. Union Made features contributions from a number of other notable names as well, including Maggie Rose, Turnpike Troubadours' Evan Felker, Jesse Wells, who is really becoming a big name in the folk scene, John Carter Cash, that's Johnny's son, and Anna Christina Cash. So I'm, again, very, very excited for that. Lots of names on that record that I'm excited to hear. And Old Crow is always I always look forward to anything that they put out. And lastly, certainly not least, but this is something I was hoping would come out this year. Not necessarily this album, but this artist too. Craft Recordings has done such a great job of reissuing. They've reissued his album, Backwaters. They introduced his album, reissued his album, Church Street Blues. And now they're releasing his self-titled LP, Tony Rice. This is, again, on June the 5th. Very excited for this. It is the 1977 self-titled album from Tony Rice. It sees the bluegrass guitar virtuoso take on traditional tracks, standards, and his rendition of contemporary tunes. This album was among the early pioneers of what would become the new acoustic genre, fusing bluegrass, jazz, classical, and more. It's a AAA, so all analog, remastered from the original tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. This pressing showcases Rice's guitar mastery like never before. Again, I am beyond excited for this. He's got some songs on there that I can't see on here. Anyway, very excited for that. Church Street Blues by Craft is, I think, still the best sounding record in my collection. I did a video on that a while ago. But this is just so exciting. Craft has done such a great job with Tony. We already got very early this year from Real Gone Music, the Manzanita record, which needed a reissue, and I was so happy to get that. But Craft does such a good job with the all analog. Kevin Gray really makes Tony Rice sound breathtaking. You get these records, these acoustic records by Tony, put them up loud on your speaker and listen to that acoustic guitar ring. It sounds phenomenal. So I am so excited for this, and cannot wait for this record and for the others that I mentioned. So there you go. That's 5 records that I'm really excited about that are coming out on June the 5th. That just happened that way. There's a lot more records that are coming out within the next month or so that I'm just beyond ecstatic for, and I can't afford them all. Birthday's coming up. Maybe I'll get a couple from my birthday. We'll see. So let me know what you think. Are those records that you're interested in? Are you purchasing those? I know that summertime is going to be big for releases, so I'm very excited to see what else gets announced between now and the summer months. So that does it for me, everybody. In the meantime, y'all be good, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.